Hello.
Then. Now.
Bow down to the queens.
Episode number 500.
Forever.
Looks like hell throws over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Hello, and welcome to episode number 100 and I believe 17 of the TEW IX Challenge Run. We're here for ECW for March the 4th, 2025. It is ECW's first show since Roadblock, and yeah, we learnt the ECW World Championship match at WrestleMania back at Roadblock when the Iron Survivor Challenge winner Jacob Fatu chose to face the ECW World Champion Warden at the grandest stage of them all. You know, Jacob was a SmackDown competitor, but I guess now he's on ECW full time, so we'll have to see what happens with that. Plus, tonight we have a World Tag Team Championship rematch as the House of Black, any two members of Alistair, Brody King, and Ciampa, will defend against the Usos in our main event, plus a whole lot more. So without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. The show kicks off with Warden, the ECW World Champion, coming to the ring. And he goes, man, it's actually not often I get the chance to come to the ring and actually open up this show, because typically there's been some bloodline family BS that's apparently more important than the champion of this brand. But on Saturday night, I defeated the monster of all monsters. But I defeated Braun Strowman. I put Braun Strowman down and cemented my place as the most dominant ECW World Champion in history. Now, there's no rest for the wicked when you're a champion as strong and as dangerous as I am, because apparently I've got a big-ass target on my back, because everybody wants to step into the ring with a champ. Everybody wants to be the guy to take the championship from the most dominant ECW champion of all time. And I guess that's where Jacob Fatu comes in. Now, Jacob, you're somebody I've had my eye on for a long-ass time. Back at War Games, you and I shared a ring, and I knew back then that you were the most dangerous member of that family. The tribal chief, your cousin, I beat his ass. Hell, Jey Uso, I beat his ass. Jimmy beat his ass. But something about you, Jacob, spoke to me. I haven't beat your ass yet, but I would love to. I've beaten your family pillar to post. I've almost run your family off of this show. But here you come as the savior, the Samoan werewolf, the family member long locked away, never to be spoken of, acting as the savior of the Anoa'i dynasty. Jacob, I know you think that you're the most dominant man here on ECW now that you've arrived. But here's a reality check for you. Every single other member of your family, top and bottom, has felt the wrath of my powerbomb. And at WrestleMania, you've signed yourself up to be the next in line. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll waddle Heyman. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and tonight is a very special night for me. It's a very special night for the bloodline, and it's a very, very special night for ECW. Because as you saw, Warden, your opponent at WrestleMania is not a member of the ECW roster before last weekend. It is the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu, and you said a lot of things that a lot of people who aren't me can mistake as confidence. But, Warden, I've seen the look on your face every time you and the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu go face to face with each other in the ring. I saw it back at Survivor Series. Hell, I saw it last week when Jacob Fatu showed up through your doors. He came to that ring and he left your ass on the floor. You were both thriving in pain because of the power of the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu. So, Warden, you sure have been a thorn in my side, and a thorn in the side of the entire bloodline here on ECW, and the tribal chief, he's got other things to deal with right now than to deal with you. But let it be known, Warden, and you can tell Dwayne, if Dwayne is watching, because Dwayne picked you to be his champion, that Roman Reigns is officially in the corner of the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. This victory will not just be for Jacob Fatu to cement himself as the most dominant player in WWE. It will cement Jacob Fatu as the world champion he was born to be. And it will be at the behest of the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. So, Warden, please stand there, get comfortable, and look confident, and please welcome the newest member of ECW, the most dangerous man in the Samoan dynasty, and the man who is going to take your ECW championship at WrestleMania. I give to you Jacob Fatu. Out Jacob comes. He stands side by side with Heyman. He says, you know, I sense a foggy night out here in Brooklyn. I can't tell whether or not the moon is full right now, but that's not going to stop this Samoan werewolf from getting his hands dirty. That's not going to stop this Samoan werewolf from getting in his first victory as an official member of the ECW roster. So anybody out there who loves to be inflicted with pain, get yourself out here and face the Samoan werewolf. That man is Joe Gacy. You know, Joe Gacy doesn't do a lot, but he sure does love pain. That is one thing I can say about him. And he takes the fight of Jacob Fatu, and it gets an 89. Yeah, I said this is a wild brawl because brawling is like Joe Gacy's best stat. You know, he's becoming a bit of a cult hero on ECW. He doesn't do anything. He shows up every week, gets the shit kicked out of him, and then disappears and doesn't come back until he's ready to get the shit kicked out of him again. But he's good at fighting. I'll give him that. But yes, Jacob Fatu does defeat Joe Gacy in 12:05 with a Samoan drop. 94 for Jacob Fatu, 67 for Joe Gacy. And yes, big win for Jacob Fatu, his first win as a member of the ECW roster. And he will challenge Warden for the ECW Championship at WrestleMania 41 in Vegas in 7 weeks. We then cut back to Ava in the GM's office, and Austin Theory's in there with her. And he says, listen, Ava, I know you're a busy girl right now, but I heard that we're going to bring back the Andre the Giant Battle Royal this year. And for guys like us that need to win matches like that to get our next step and get the attention of people here in WWE, we actually had a great idea for how we can spice up this year's match. And then Warden storms into the office. And Ava goes, Austin, do you mind? I'll hear your pitch, later, but I've got business to attend to. He goes, great. I'll see you then. And he walks off. And she goes, can I help you? And he goes, I don't want to talk to you. I don't do business with you. Where's your dad? And Ava goes, he's not here tonight. And one goes, oh really? Is that true? Because I could have sworn I saw his car outside just now. And Ava goes, nope, must have been somebody else. How can I help you anyway? He goes, this Jacob Fatu. You sure we want him around? And Ava goes, well, listen, we tried our best to keep him off our show. But he did win the Iron Survivor, and he does have the right to challenge for whatever World Championship he wants. And he chose you, Warden, so at WrestleMania you will defend the World Championship against him, whether we like it or not. Warden goes, doesn't sound like you're really putting up too much of a fight to get him off the show. Maybe tell your dad to stop, goofing around in Hollywood. Because if he wants me to be his champion, how great it is to be The Rock's champion. But right now, The Rock ain't even really around. I'm doing The Rock's dirty work, and I don't do anybody's dirty work. Your cousins and those Tongans, they may do people's dirty work, but that's not me. So you can tell your daddy, show up, or I'm out. And he walks away. And you see Ava, texting somebody on her phone. And then come back to Gorilla, Shantae and Naomi getting ready for a tag match. And Naomi goes, "Listen, sis, last week, you came very close. I was rooting for you to become the Liberty Champion, but Kathy, she had your number." And Shantae goes, but we're all good, right? Because I just wanted to, I still love you and this tag team stuff. It's just, sometimes when the opportunity arises to try and become a singles champion here in WWE, you're gonna take it. And Naomi goes, "Yeah, I understand that. But tonight's about tag team action. Tonight's about us getting a foot back in the tag team division after your loss last week. But don't worry. I've got this tonight." And then Naomi's music hits and she walks out. And Shantae goes, "Yeah, sure, you've got this." And they go up for a tag team match. Gets a 79. Holy fuck. Naomi, I guess, is to credit for that because she scored the highest rating. It's just, I guess, just a good circumstance around everything. Nightlight do defeat Kim McQueen and Indy Hartwell, the, leftover floaters from the Sasha regime thing, which with Sasha currently MIA, they've got no one to really order them around. So I guess they don't have minds of their own. But yeah, Nightlight do pick up the victory. Naomi does pick up the win for her team. She pins Indy with the split-legged moonsault in 8:44. 68 for Shantae, 76 for Naomi, 64 for Kim, and a 61 for Indy. Nice. Very overachieving match. I didn't expect this to do this well. We then cut back to the interview room. Kathy Kelly. I knew I was gonna, when I booked this segment in and I booked the interviewer Kelly to interview Kathy Cole, I was like, I'm going to say Kathy Kelly, and I did. Kelly Kincaid is with Kathy Cole, the $1 million champion. And she goes, "Well, we just saw out there tonight, Shantae Washington, she gave you a fight last week for that championship." Kathy goes, "That's what it's all about, okay? Sasha wanted to think she was doing this with this championship, but in reality, Sasha's defenses of this championship are only really to inflate her, rather than this whole division. Okay, but with Kathy Cole at the helm, with the next gen officially at the helm of this championship, we're going to give opportunities to everybody we see fit." So, there was Shantae last week. She gave me a good fight. Naomi, she looked impressive out there tonight. There's still a hell of a lot more women out there, Liv Morgan, Hikaru Shida, Sonya Deville, Ivy Nile, Kelsey Cook, all of them. This is what the future of the women's division is all about. That's what I want this championship to be. It's your ticket to the top. It's your ticket to being a big star in the future. And I guess this is very funny considering who we are and how we got started around here, Kelly. But I guess I'm now in the position where, as this champion, and in the group called Next Gen with the next generation by my side, we're in a position now where I guess the future has to go through me. And who will that be? Who knows? But one thing for damn sure, whoever it is that takes the championship from me, whether it be Shantae or Naomi or anybody, I'm not giving it up without a fight. We then cut to the crowd, we get a shot of the crowd, and then we hear Kevin Owens' voice goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have a moment of your time?" And he walks out, down the stairs in the crowd into the ring. He's probably wearing, merchandise. He's probably got Yeet sunglasses on and, an Undisputed Era t-shirt. And he goes, "Last week there was a bit of a situation I had with my old friend Adam Cole following his victory over the Paragon in that 8-man tag team match. And I just want to say, Adam, come out here right now. I've got to clear the air between you and I, make sure we're all good." And Adam Cole gets into the ring. He goes, "What is it, Kev? You know what? I saw it last week, You don't have to explain yourself to me. I saw Dolph Ziggler attack you last week and shove you into me. You know, I don't really mind that much, Kev. I'm still rolling high on my victory last week. Kevin goes, no, you don't get it. The attack last week was because of Dolph Ziggler, not me. And Adam Cole goes, yeah, I just said that, Kevin. It's, I watched it back. I saw that you were right. Kevin goes, I was right. I'm always right, Adam. So, we're good? Adam Cole goes, I guess for now, we're good. Oh. Historically, we've not been good, but right now, after last week, I've got no issues with that. Shit happens in wrestling. You know, Dolph Ziggler's a piece of crap. And Roderick Strong goes, Adam, come on. We don't like this guy. You hate this guy, okay? You're not going to buy into this bull crap, right? Kevin Owens goes, shut up, Roddy. Okay, what sort of stupid name is Roderick, huh? Imagine your mom walking around for 9 months with you in her stomach, and she goes, I know it'll be funny. What if I called my child Roderick? Okay, what a name, Roddy. Okay, so you can try and get out of Adam Cole's ear, but me and Adam Cole, our friendship goes back just as far as yours guys' does. So if Adam Cole wants to forgive Kevin Owens for what happened last week, then as far as I'm concerned, it's all water under the bridge, and these people want to see water under the bridge. But, Roddy, what they don't want to see is you accusing their people's champion of sabotage. What they don't want to see is you accusing their champion of being a liar and a manipulator and a backstabber, Roddy. So come on, Roderick, if that is your real name. How about you and I do this right now? Everybody goes, sure, Kevin, I'd love to shut you up as the only person who can see through your bullshit right now. So yeah, Roderick Strong and Kevin Owens, one-on-one coming up next. Gets a 75. Bleh. I assume both of these men are declining, which is annoying for Kevin specifically. Roddy, like, he's a tag trios guy mainly now, so I'm not going to say him declining is good, but, like, it's not as annoying as Kevin Owens declining. But, yeah, Kevin Owens does win in 12-15 with a pop-up powerbomb. 76 for Kevin, 73 for Roddy. So, yeah, Kevin Owens, you know, he tried to clear the air of Adam Cole because, remember, Dolph Ziggler shoved him into Adam Cole last week, and Kevin immediately said that was Dolph Ziggler. And originally Adam Cole was skeptical, but Adam Cole, because he's in the Kevin Owens sphere, I feel like he has to have watched the show back because Kev would have. So anybody who's in the Kevin Owens circle has to be intelligent. I can't book him to be dumb. So, yeah. But there's still tension, clearly, between him and Adam Cole and now Roddy, I guess. We then get a video sent in from the Wyatt Six. They've been doing their thing. They've been lurking in the shadows for a while. But, you know, they're making their presence felt here tonight. They send a video in. And it's got Uncle Howdy. He's sat in a chair. You see the unmasked versions of the rest of the Wyatts just gathered around him on the floor. And he says, we need to get back out there for him. It's been a long time. I thought what we were doing was right to avenge him. To finish what he started. I just want to hug my brother. Tell him it's all going to be okay. But I can't. Some of us don't have that privilege anymore. Some of us can't call up our brothers and say, hey, I'm sorry for everything that I did. I'm sorry for all the times I hurt you. For all the crap I put you through. I'm sorry for not being a brother. Because now it's too late. Now I can't say anything like that to my brother. But you can. Don't become like us. Don't become like me. Please. Forgive your brother. Please listen to your brother because he's your brother. And you never know how much longer you'll have to forgive him until it's too late. But nothing that's worth fighting for is worth feeling the way I feel. Is worth feeling regret, sadness, loneliness, that I didn't tell my brother I loved him one last time. That I wasn't there for him during his last moments, that we ended on bad terms. So please, if you hear this, forgive your brother before it's too late. We then cut to the ring following that, and out comes Blair Davenport with Hikaru Shida by her side. No, not Ruby, sorry, not Blair. I knew this was going to happen. I get these mixed up all the time. Ruby's with Shida, Blair is with the witches. Yeah. So, yeah, Ruby and Shida come out. And Ruby goes, wow, Roadblock was hell of an eventful show, right? I know I didn't defend, so I understand if you missed it. But I was there. You know, there was this grueling underground match, you know. We were in the UFC Apex, you know, the home of mixed martial arts and TKO. But this past Saturday night, WWE was the home of mixed martial arts in the UFC Apex, where we did an underground match. It was my old friend Florence against my other old friend Blair Davenport. And Blair, oh Blair, the wise old cracking little witch that she is, she picked up the victory. She knocked Florence out. Florence regretted ever messing with Blair Davenport on that night because she was looking up at the lights, barely conscious. And with that, Blair Davenport, as the ECW Women's Champion, I took notice. I was there for it. So, Blair, come to the ring and let's discuss your, let's call it a reward. Blair comes out with the witches by her side. She goes, first of all, Ruby, they're here to watch your back, not mine, okay? If you try any funny business, if you and Sheeta try any funny business, Blair, Iona, and Alba will sort you two out. So, you better not try and get the jump on me, because I know what you're like. Because I would never. I'm just here to discuss things with you. Like, there's nothing to discuss. You know exactly what you're talking about. You know exactly why I'm here. Yes, I defeated Florence at Roadblock. And yes, you and I made an agreement. We struck a deal that would make me the #1 contender for the ECW Women's Championship. And I would like my shot. And I would like my shot at WrestleMania. Ruby goes, well, very forward. You're right. I did promise you that, but let's just have a little discussion. And Blair goes, no discussions. Okay? I get it. You scratched my back. Now scratch mine again and give me what I want. Okay? Because if we're going to be real, Ruby, did you really need to help me at Roadblock to win that match? Because I know I could have knocked out Florence by myself. Or did you do it because you don't want to face Florence again? Ruby goes, psh. What am I supposed to be scared of Florence or you? No, I did it because I feel like you deserve the opportunity, Blair. You know, like, remember when Florence would hand you that free change opportunity in New Zealand when you weren't ready for it and she embarrassed you in front of your own hometown? I'm trying to avoid that. You're ready now. And I think it's only fair that you get that shot at WrestleMania. That's why I helped you. Not because I'm scared of Florence. Because it's your time to shine, Blair. Florence is behind you now. You won 2, she won 1. It's over. You beat her. So as far as I'm concerned, you are the #1 contender. And you can finally by yourself without Florence around. Step up to a championship match on the grandest stage of them all and prove you belong. Prove you're not just Florence's lackey. That's why I did it. Why, do you not appreciate all the good that I did for you? That's when Florence does come out and she goes, oh, please just piss off. Listen, there's a gash on my head right now, I understand. Most other women would not be seen here today because they'd be embarrassed that they got knocked out in the UFC Apex. Not I, because I know that there was chicanery afoot at Roadblock, and I think I've got to the bottom of it, Ruby. For months now, you've been trying to drive a wedge between myself and Blair, and it worked. Congratulations. This woman who I used to consider my friend, I now can't stand the sight of. You got your way, Ruby. You're the champion, and me and Blair, we hate each other. Which is why, Ruby, I feel like it's a bit weird that you're still in our business, considering you got what you wanted. You could have left well enough alone, but there you were on Saturday night, screwing me. Now, normally, an underground match is the sort of definitive outcome where there's a winner and there's a loser, but this time, I don't think that's the case because you two know all too well if Ruby Riott didn't get involved on Saturday night, I'd be the winner and I'd be standing here, the number one contender for this championship. If Ruby, still abided by that rule, considering it wouldn't have gone the way she wanted it to. Because these are, first of all, outrageous accusations. I would happily defeat either you or Blair Davenport at WrestleMania because I beat both of you already. But, Florence, this isn't all about you as much as you may think it is. This is about the championship and finding out who's best for the championship. And quite frankly, why did somebody who lost an underground match at Roadblock deserve a shot at the ECW Women's World Championship? Oh, that's right. They shouldn't, because they should go to the back of the line. Florence just sort of nods her head and goes, understandable, I'm not going to say you're wrong there. But, I don't really care about right or wrong. I care about fighting. So, we're going to sit here and yap. I don't particularly care too much. To just any one of you three little nameless faces back here standing around goofing off. Get in the ring with me right now. And we'll see who's ready for a championship match. We'll see who the real number one contender should be. Okay? And Alba Fire steps up. She's the one who will face Florence right now. And it gets a 94. I picked Alba because I knew she was the best wrestler of the bunch. But I did not expect it to be that good. Holy fuck. But yeah, Florence does defeat Alba Fire in 15 minutes and 9 with a rain flow. 88 for Florence, 92 for Alba Fire. So yeah, after all of that, there was still no official announcement of Blair Davenport versus Ruby Riott. It's all he shared, she shared right now. And, it's starting to feel like maybe Florence and Blair are getting to the bottom of Ruby's mind games right now. Because whoever was right here, whether Florence was right or Blair was right, it sort of backfired on Ruby anyway. So... AEA Raid main event. Actually weaker than the women's match we just had. Yes, the rematch for the ECW World Tag Team Championship. The Usos against the House of Black. It's Brody King and Aleister Black again. And yeah, they have a nice match, 15-20. And the Usos, they're rocking and rolling. They've got the crowd on their side. They're yeeting. The crowd's yeeting all over the place. And Big Jim, he's doing his thing as well. He's yeeting all over the place. They double team move the Usos back as they are. And they take down Big Brody King on the outside. They double super kick to Aleister Black. Jey Uso goes up top. He's gonna hit the Uso splash. When the Rock's music hits. And he storms out onto the stage and he just stands on the stage and he looks in the ring at Jey Uso. Jey Uso looks across at the Rock. Frustrated, annoyed that the Rock is getting involved in his match here tonight. He goes out to the ring, he goes to go get in the Rock's face. Well, not in his face, but he's outside the ring at the bottom of the ramp shouting up at the Rock who's at the top of the ramp. Because he doesn't want to get counted out, obviously, because they're not the champions. And then he turns back around, he gets back in the ring, Aleister Black nails him with a Black Mass. And the House of Black retain the ECW World Tag Team Championships. Makes you a shocking appearance from the final boss. 79 for Brody King, 83 for Aleister Black, 99 for Jimmy, 93 for Jay. And still, the House of Black. After the match, Big Dwayne saunters his way down to the ring. The Tongans appear at ringside. They start mauling on Jimmy on the outside. They take Jimmy out. And then, Yeet starts getting to his feet. The crowd's yeeting him on. Yeet, 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 yeet. And, there's a Tongan on... Well, not a Tongan, sorry. There's a Tongan on 3 of the 4 sides of the ring, and on the other side of the ring is Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Hollywood megastar. Yeet. He's getting ready to get all fired up. He calls The Rock in the ring. The Rock just does the cutthroat on the apron. The Tongans get in the ring and they 3-on-1 maul. Yeet. Jacob Fatu's music hits. He storms down to the ring. And that's when Warden appears. He cuts him off with a big clothesline. He takes Jacob Fatu down. Because, he said if The Rock wasn't around, he was out. But The Rock is here. So I guess he's in. He begins the assault on Jacob Fatu on the ramp. So he's neutralized. We then cut back to the Tongans assaulting Jey Uso in the ring. Out comes the Tribal Chief. His music hits. He storms to the ring. He rushes into the ring. He Superman punches Tama Tonga. He Superman punches Tonga Loa. He backs into the corner. Ooh, he rushes for a spear. Big Tonga Loa grabs him out of the spear. He goes to deliver a double-handed chokeslam to Roman Reigns. Jey Uso super kicks Tama Tonga, staggers him. Super kicks him again. Talatonga bounces off the ropes. Spear by Big Roman. The 7-foot Tongan is down. When The Rock goes low on Roman Reigns. Roman drops to his knees. The Rock starts mauling on Roman Reigns with the belt, going, "Stay down, boy. This is bigger than you, boy. This is about me." Jey Uso, he tries to throw a super kick at The Rock, but The Rock catches his foot. And The Rock lays out Jey Uso with the rock bottom. He goes over on top of Jey, he stands over Jey. He cuts his throat again, and he delivers the people's elbow. Big Jim, he crawls back into the ring, but the Tongans just lay him out with guerrilla warfare. And then The Rock and his bloodline stand tall with the ones pointing to the sky. Wardlow, not Warden even, with his belt at ringside, standing over the downed Jacob Fatu, just watching on, nodding his head, clapping. He's not in the ring, he's not raising his wand or anything, he's just, admiring The Rock from afar. And yeah, it seems the OG bloodline very much outnumbered. Still here tonight. AA Raid Show. Yeah, pretty fun episode of ECW. I've realised what the issue with ECW is, by the way. It has the least amount of WrestleMania matches out of all of the brands. So, there's more filler on ECW, basically. Not really this week, actually. I think every match this week does lead to a match at WrestleMania, but most other weeks, when I've got to fill time, it's because I think, not to play spoiler, but there are 5 ECW matches set for WrestleMania, and 4 of them are title matches. No, 6 then, because 5 title matches, because there's the $1 Million Championship. And at least one of them will probably end up on the kickoff show. And then, yeah, there's another non-title match, which you can probably fucking guess what that is. But, yeah. So, that's... I've realised that I've got to start doing more stuff. So, that's where I did the Austin Theory segment. Like, the rest of ECW, like, we can start building the Andre as, like, an ECW match, I guess. Because there will be a lot of ECW people in it. So, yeah. But anyway, I'm ranting again. Well, that's more like you thought of the show. Do leave in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for SmackDown, where we've got a lot to discuss. We now know the main event of night 1 will be the Women's World Championship match, Utami defending against Io, plus, whatever that was, we saw the closing moments of Roadblock. See you then.